Hello there, in this tutorial I'm going to show how to access software from terminal services. Now in the previous video we install terminal service, then we install application in the terminal server. Now we have to access those software from terminal server from client computer. So client wants to access those softwares from terminal server. How to do that? Either we have a couple of options. Either we do via remote desktop. It's a very conventional matter. Goes to MSDSC and give a computer name or IP address, -1. Okay, and then the username. So since it's a domain, so tech engineer credential /administrator. It's a local username, and king at the rate 130 password we are using. So first we need to allow remote desktop. So goes to remote settings, allow connection from computers, and it's a less secure manner. Goes to computer properties, remote settings, allow connections to less secure. So since we are using a basic remote desktop thing, so securing a remote connection, we took some time. Okay, so the certification error comes. It's saying me that it's not a trusted certificate authority. It's not a trusted thing. A certificate error comes. So I just check that, and yes, so that I will always get the access of the server computer all the time. So that error should not be shown all the time. So configuring remote connection, you can see welcome, and I just able to access my server 2008 machine, which is a terminal server, and it's a remote desktop. Via remote desktop I able to access, you can see all the things which I'm using through remote desktop, but it's a very unsafe method to access server, and that to a domain server via remote desktop. It's a very unsafe manner, and what we need to do here is we actually create one group called manager, and that manager consists two user, which is test1 and test2. This two user is domain user, and these two domain user will access server 2008 or terminal server, so that be able to access server 2008 via those manager user. And it's not a remote desktop, it's a domain user which is going to access, so that our domain is keeps on working. It's don't goes log off like in remote desktop case. So let's see whether we're able to access terminal server from those Active Directory domain users. So securing a remote connection. Let's see whether we're able to access. Okay, there we go. Finding the error. Now remember this error when in the past we created a VPN at Active Directory domain controller. We got this same error, and that time I promised you that I will show the terminal server concept. This is the time I have to make things clear, which I left that time. This error is coming because it's not we didn't log in from remote desktop, we log in from Active Directory domain user, which is not a convention, which is actually a conventional method, but it's not fully prepared by our system. Server not able to access and particularly the client user. So what we have to do is run command gpedit.msc. Since it's a 7 machine, a client computer, so what I have to give: Windows settings, security setting, local policies, user right assignment, allow logon to the terminal service, and I have to say that I have to put that manager which I created, the group I have created, I have to check the name. Okay, select that manager, okay, it's done. So since 7 is a client machine and tries to access the server 2008, that's the reason the remote desktop thing won't work and allow us and ask us to do remote settings in the terminal service. So I just, after editing the policy, I have to give the command gp update /force to forcefully update the latest policy. You can see user policy updated successfully. Now let's see whether we able to access from our domain user or not. Since this is a 7 machine, it's a client machine, and to access server we need special permissions of terminal services. So tag engineer /test1 and password, and let's see whether we able to access our server machine or not. If we able to access server machine, then definitely we are able to access, and yes, no more error, we able to access server 2008. So obviously we able to access, there we go, the software also. And with this case, since we didn't log in from local user, we log in from domain user. In the domain, actual domain server, the domain didn't log off from the server machine, from the machine. This is 7 machine, and this is the actual domain. You can see this is the domain server, which is not log off like remote desktop, and this is the 7 machine which is actually accessing the server. Since it's a server, log in from test1, and as server machine we log in from administrator, the local administrator. The previous time, that couple of minutes ago, we done a video, we done a practical on remote desktop. So what happened that time, we access from a local user. This time we access from a domain user. We are domain user, we access software from terminal server. Hope you learned something.